it's Tuana with Destiny Education, and welcome to what's normally our Saturday morning coffee. Let me ask you a couple questions. Are you sick and tired of feeling stuck? Are you tired of the chasm that exists between what you see yourself as in your head and the life that you're actually living? Today, that's what we're going to talk about, is bridging that chasm. But before we begin, I want to tell you a story. I once worked with a woman, and at the organization we worked at, we were given a list of self-help books that we needed to read. And in the middle of this conversation with this woman, she said, "Yeah, I know about self-help books. I mean, they're all about rah 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 and build you up for a moment, but they never actually work." The problem with that is that that shows and demonstrates a mindset. And that mindset shows where a person is at. So let's talk about this on the real tip. There are so many books out there that are self help that motivate you to do something, but that motivation only lasts temporarily. So, on one level, she was right. There was this book I absolutely loved. I ended up buying it for like five different people. It's called The 1 Minute Millionaire by Mark Victor Hansen. The book was great, but it was a rah 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 shish boom ba book. There was nothing tangible in there that told me how to do it. And so, one of the things that I want you to understand about the programs we bring you is that we're always going to tell you how to do it. Some days we will give you step by step instructions on how, depending on what the topic is. And some days we can tell you how to do something within a certain framework. But because of the differences in situations and circumstances in everyone's life, we can't always give you instructions that are going to walk you through your specific example. But the framework that we give you will always work. I'm telling you this because the image that you have in your head and the chasm that separates, the chasm is the big huge space between who you are today and who you see yourself being, is not hard to bridge. It's actually quite easy. It's so unbelievably simple. Most people go, "That's not true." It's a decision. It's a decision that you are no longer going to live in the circumstance that you're in, that you no longer want to walk the path that you're already walking. And that's the difference. So here's the deal. There's a young man that I work with, and this young man is bound and determined he is going to be in the film industry, and he's good. But when you start, guess what? The rest of the world doesn't see that you're good. Sometimes when you have one person in your corner who's genuinely realistic about who you are, your limitations, your strengths, all of that, that's the voice that you have to tune your ear to until you get to the place that other people begin to see your value. Most of the world that we live in is very negative. Let me tell you about this other young man that I worked with. This young man makes these crazy decisions. But because his bank accounts are fuller and fuller year after year, he thinks higher of himself than he ought to. And so what happens is that when he interacts with some of the other people, he likes to flaunt what he has. The problem is that people then go after what he has and they like him for that. And when his answer is no, they don't like him anymore. It's never about what you have. It's not ever about what it looks like. It's about what's really happening on your inside. And too many of you are sitting back going, "Why am I here?" Listen, you're here because you have a purpose. Think about all the babies every year that never ever see this world. Had they made it, they would have had a purpose, but they didn't. You're here. There's a reason. And interestingly enough, there's something in you that you are terrified of, that you hate, that you don't like, whatever it is that you keep resisting. Search yourself and find out what that is. Because whatever that is, that's where you need to focus. So let me ask you another question. What is it that you really want out of life? It's time for you to start figuring that out. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take down, grab a piece of paper and a pencil, a pen, whatever, keyboard, tablet, whatever you need to write on. And I want you to write out everything that your heart desires in this world. Everything. Everything. Leave nothing out. Once you're done with that, review the list. Take off anything that is impossible to do. Now, let's define impossible, shall we? I want to fly from building to building like Superman. That is a physical impossibility to do without a plane, something, right? Hang glide, whatever. So, either cross it out or fix it. I want to hang glide from building to building. I want to parasail from building to building. I'm not really sure how you would parasail from building to building, but whatever. So, clear it up. Make it clear. Get a solid picture in your mind of what it is you really want to do. And then start figuring out how you want to make the money to do it. Because if you only have a 9 to 5, that may or may not be the way, depending on the rest of the circumstances in your life. If you're a single individual, you can make it happen. No responsibilities, no major bills. Yeah, you can do that unless you're making minimum wage, in which case it's going to take significantly longer. What are ways that you can start bringing in money that don't require your time? I'm not going to tell you that online is easy to do. It's effective, but it is not easy to do. And you're going to have a lot of days where you think it's not going to work. And you're going to sit back and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? But you have to keep putting the work in, even when it looks like nothing's happening. So, figure out what you're going to do with your list. Think about the ways that you can make the money to do it. And then go make it happen. I got to run for now. I'll see you next time.